Hello everyone and welcome back to the third hour of A Burning Wheel. Not a burning wheel, but the burning wheel. Our burning wheel. The burniest of wheels, in fact. Alright, so we rejoin you, a falcon circling over a building. We rejoin you two, Menomir and Nicholas, inside the formaldehyde-stinging, tiny, dimly lit room. Two people presently in the room, and the third has just entered into it. The small, blonde and mustachioed doctor, who's presently looking at Nicholas with a distasteful look in his eyes. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
I immediately. What do I do immediately? Give me a second. Why aren't you working? I immediately want to attempt a persuasion to persuade him to like me through my words, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Let's hear some of that. So you come in. I get the sense that you get a feeling from him that he might not, in fact, be taking that well to you. Something is definitely wrong, although you might not be really sure what's up. And you want to basically like make a good first impression. Like, what is this?
My hands go up. I don't. If I smile, it's my best attempt to look as innocent as possible. Though on a face like Nicholas's, that just comes across as looking vaguely constipated.
Well, you are odd, so.
And I say, "Afternoon, Doc. I come in peace."
What do you want?
Well, I was gonna say I wanted to ask for some assistance, although from the looks of things, there seems to be a bit of an issue going on.
What issue do you seem to have going on?
It's not my issue, but I feel that by the way that you looked at me as soon as you noticed I was here, that there seems to be some bad blood between us that I seem unaware of.
Oh, did you now? Did you notice that? Well, you're never bad at reading situations, I suppose. You're still alive. I guess that's good for something.
Perhaps you could elaborate on how I have wronged you, that I may set it right?
You can't set it right. There's nothing you can do. Not unless you've happened to smuggle into this country some way to revive the dead.
If he at any point look at Menomir, he just rung up his arms.
But I don't suppose you did that, did you? Nah, can't imagine so. What did you smuggle then? You're still in the business? I suppose you are. Your product is still out there. He says, when he says that, like, his face is a landslide of distastefulness.
I'm trying to think whether it'd be appropriate for Nicky to recall whether or not he knows what the doctor's talking about.
You have no idea.
I have no idea, okay. Have my dealings deprived you of family or friends, Doctor?
You don't even know, do you? Of course you don't. Why would you care? Shit, you probably haven't even heard about it. Since when did you care about anyone but yourself? You egotistical piece of shit.
I'd be offended if it weren't so true. So enlighten me then. Take out your rage. Do what you must.
There's no cause to get angry, is there? It doesn't really get us anywhere. I could scream and I could shout at you, but it's not gonna bring him back.
So it's a he.
You and I used to do business, Nicky.
Yeah.
You did all right
We
by
did.
me. Although I do suspect you of cutting a bit of the profit for yourself every now and then. I do suspect you cheating me every now and then. But I didn't mind. I didn't mind you taking your awkward little pittances. I didn't mind you trying to pull one over on me because in the end, didn't matter. Still got what I needed. I worked for a long time, Nikki. Worked for a long time to become the man I am. Or the man I were, he says. Again, his tone lowering the temperature a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know why I did it, Nikki?
Do tell.
I did it for family.
Minnow actually nods. He can totally relate. What you don't do for family, he thinks. Yep.
You know, my nephew, smart kid, good kid, on the right course, had a wealthy patron. Always good for, rich folks. Always needs something carved in some shape or another.
Mm-hmm.
Turned up dead in the harbor.
Oh, goodness.
I
Tell me.
I don't know why. I don't know what happened. So I ask myself, well, what's been going on? I need answers. I can't just brush it off. People turn up dead every now and then, but this is family, Nikki. So I ask myself, what's happened? So I go to his friends. They don't know. So I go to his wife. She knows. His friends know too, but they don't tell me because who cares, right? I'm just a nobody. Who cares? No one cares. I care. Your sick product was wasting his life away. Your business, your precious business, stole away his life bit by bit until one day he just wandered off into the harbor and he drowned, Nikki.
I think it's a good thing Stormcrow isn't in there.
Why?
His reply would probably have been something along the lines of, well, I guess he wasn't that bright then.
Okay, then it's a good thing that it's Minomir in there because he's like, oh, that's so sad. Then it's his own fucking fault. But at least he has enough tact to just like, nope, I'm not saying that out loud.
Yep.
Yeah, he
How? So
he stands
Nick,
he fumes quietly.
how long ago did it happen?
It's about 2 months ago.
I see.
Hey, Nikki?
Hmm? Hmm?
Would it... Well, we've already found someone who's done something to your product to do really bad stuff to people that shouldn't actually happen. Could this put these too?
Oh, that would depend. You're certain that it was what I sell?
I wasn't to begin with. I thought the world can only have so many coincidences. But I cared, Nikki. I cared a great deal. Still do.
Did you care enough to know what color the substance was that he took?
I know your product, Nikki. It's white.
Fine. I look back to Minamir. Doesn't sound it, does it?
Yeah, Oliver. Yeah. No, I believe it or not, I went to.
So what's up here? I'm hearing a lot of grumbling. What do you want to do?
I'm thinking, and Nikki is thinking.
You want to butter him up, or do you want to, like, do you still want to go for it, or are you going to bow down to the? Are you going to step away from the angry family member of a person you might have inadvertently affected?
I'm trying to think, because, in all honesty, from what I've described of the symptoms of fairy dust, it is very likely that, yes, it could actually lead to them
Wandering off on an overdose.
possibly. Yes, quite frankly, because there's no such thing as a harmless narcotic, is there? He's debating whether or not there's even any point trying to butter him up, because this is clearly something he's holding very tight and won't let go of. But he is at the moment our best course of action in terms of finding someone immediately. But yeah, it's pretty obvious that if as it is, it's gonna be a very uphill struggle to convince him to even have anything to do with helping Nikki with what he wants to do, because what Nikki wants to do is selfish and clearly isn't in the interests of this man.
Well, how would you go about it?
I would love to help you, but I don't think seducing him is the right way to go. I would love to see the outcome of it. Oh.
Essentially, it comes down to if you want to make the effort, because if you want to engage him, you can totally like make the effort. You can do a good old college try, and if you succeed, then you'll get your intent. It might not be easy depending on what your intent is, but you'll get it. If you fail, something is gonna happen. What that thing is, we'll discuss that when and if you decide you want to engage him.
Fail, 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 fail.
No, Nikki is. He's not in a position where he. I mean, maybe because he's got Minamir with him, but the doctor does have two burly, evil-smelling dudes with him as well.
But Minamir can possibly turn into a bird like his brother. That's useful for fighting.
I suppose. Goodness me.
Step back! Got bird flu, motherfucker!
Jesus. Okay.
We'll turn into I don't know what they're called in English, but in Beostat, their shit is like projectiles.
Pew, pew, pew.
Exactly.
Okay, do you know what? Let's give it a go. Let's see if I can come up with something.
Yeah, good. All right. So, what's your approach here? So you want to kind of get at him and make him inclined to help you or whatever. What's your intent?
Can I help come up with what we do?
You may discuss this. Yeah.
Because if we do it one way, Minamir can actually help him.
Mm-hmm.
If he does it another way, then the only thing he will help him with would actually be, seducing him, and that doesn't really work.
Okay, so
Seduce him.
So what's the way that you think Minamir can help with?
If he still has the exact product that his lovely nephew had taken, then we could actually check if it was green. But he claims it was white. But how will he know that whatever he took would be green or white? Because he was found in the ducks. Doesn't that powder disappear in water?
Also, it sounded to me like he was like, well, I know what your product looks like, not I know what that specific product looked like. He just knows in general.
If we use what we found on this other guy and ask him, well, there's been this thing going on that's really, really bad and makes the drugs really, really, really bad.
You're
It
gonna
turns powder slightly greenish, and well, we found a man and he looks like blah 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 blah, sort of like he maybe possibly died horribly, but we're not entirely sure.
but you're gonna
we
appeal
want
to
to
like
find-
his sense of justice and be like, help us make sure this doesn't happen.
Yeah, but he knows Nicky.
Right.
He knows that Nicky doesn't care about justice or cleaning up his act. So
Yeah, but still, if it's not talking about your justice, that we don't want this to happen again, it's more like, well, you probably don't want this to happen to another family, and people kind of like my product, and if you could help us, Ish, then maybe we find out if he actually took this tainted thing, and you can find the guy who's actually responsible for killing him.
yeah,
Justice.
It sounds like
Okay.
a viable angle to me.
okay.
And I could fork in my herbalism on the greenish shit and help you with that. I don't know how it works.
No, if you can make if you can make an argument to the fact, right? If you can be like, I can help Nicky by doing this thing because this fictionally makes sense given the argument that is put on, then you can help with a die from that skill.
Okay, so yeah, I'd
Well,
like to go for that.
I would go with what they found out, so that would be perception.
Right. Well, I don't think you can help with. I don't think you can help with a stat. I might be wrong on that. Not if Nicky's gonna be rolling with a skill, but if you can find a skill you can help with, then absolutely. And I'll let you think about that, depending on
Hey,
depending
Daniel.
on. What?
But I use ugly truth for it. It's a very ugly truth, but it might actually not be him who's the one who actually killed him, because it could be the tainted shit.
Here's how that
So
would
you're-
normally
you're
work.
right.
Here's how that would normally work, because that's absolutely doable. What you would want to do in order to do that is like, we don't necessarily act it out. That depends on people's preference. But whatever Nicky comes up with, you then tell me, like, how Minomir interjects into that. Like, what comment does Minomir make, like, offhand? Or what does Minomir do in overall terms? You can be as specific or as vague as you want, within reason. And then if that justifies using ugly truth, then you can totally help with ugly truth. So that's perfectly viable. Keep that in mind.
I
Nicky,
have alchemy.
what do you have? Alchemy?
Alchemy. I forgot I had alchemy.
You did have alchemy. You could have saved us.
Just
a whole
eliminating the entire problem to
bother.
begin with.
Oh.
Oh, that's wonderful.
If you tell Nicky this, if you tell Nicky that you have experience with alchemy after this is all over, he is going to resist the urge to strangle you. I want to make that clear. I don't care how intimidating you are, I don't care how strong you are, he will have to resist the urge to just shank you.
If it's anything, it's actually an homage to Daniel, because he told me I should put my skills in alphabetical order, and I didn't, so I scrolled down to Ugly Truth and found out I had Apocalypse Slice and Alchemy.
You can't see it, but I'm like, my arms are raised right. I'm like, yeah, I'm right here. Put it in order.
I have no idea how I oversaw that 3 times whenever I looked through my skills.
Then again, hey, maybe I don't know. I don't think maybe you don't have the tools to use alchemy, right? So if Nicky makes that point, like, I'm gonna strangle you, you could be like, hey, I don't have a retort for that, but
He doesn't have the tools.
I'm
for
sorry,
alchemy,
that was a really
because
bad
I
pun.
had alchemy.
Oh dear. Alright.
I have to do some flexing exercises before I do alchemy. I need to be pretty Olympic to do it.
I
No.
don't have the laboratory to do alchemy. I'm very sorry.
Okay, how much do you need me / want me to act something out? Because I'm not sure I've got the wherewithal at the moment. at this
That's
time of
fine.
the
That's
evening.
fine. You don't actually have to do so. I would
Okay.
only ask you to do so if we were like doing this as a duel of fates or something. Not duel of fates. We're not playing John Williams music. As a duel of wits.
But
Yeah.
let me put it this way then, and however he turns it, I could actually use alchemy to help him.
You might be able to.
Good.
All right. So here's
Okay,
what
so-
we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay. So you don't have to be like super specific. You've made your intent clear, right? You want what do you want to accomplish with your intent? Yeah, what is you want to do something?
I want to convince Doctor. Forgotten the fucking name already. That's bad.
Dr. Facehugger.
Dr. Kuroba to, yes, as you say, to be inclined to help us with our inquiry and not kill us or hurt us.
Well, if you want him to be inclined to help you, then like that, would you then have to persuade him afterwards? Like, are you going for like just buttering him up so that he is less hostile to you in general? Or are you going for, I'm going to convince you to help me? What's your intent?
Yeah, we might as well go the whole hog on this. I think, okay. So we need to make him we need to make him inclined to help us. We need to just get him to help us.
All right, cool. So your intent is to help him, convince him to help you with your problem, which is, to be more precise, it is to convince him to help you, figure out whatever information he can glean from the powder you've brought, by alchemical means and investigation.
Yeah, work out what's been added or changed about the product and the new stuff, so that we have an idea of what it does, and who could possibly have the materials to change it.
Okay, cool. That's good, and that's your intent. What's your task? How do you do this? What will you be leaning on to do this?
Convincing him to do so through information pertaining to lessening. How do I word it?
Are you going to persuade him? Are you going to intimidate him? Are you gonna?
I want to persuade him, and depending on how much I'm going to say, you may need to tell a few falsehoods.
You might have to lie to the person. That's okay. That might, like, if you want to lie to him in order to make yourself, like, give yourself a leg up in the conversation, you can totally do that. That would allow you to fork falsehood if you have it. So okay, we're looking at a persuasion check to do this. So go into your perception, click the die to roll it, and then do you have any forks? Anything you would like to fork in? Something you want to do to position yourself favorably in the conversation? Such as lying to him?
Yeah, we're going to try falsehoods.
Alright, so what are you lying to him about? Are you trying to, like, act repentant? Or are you lying about something else?
We're lying about the, let's see, what am I lying about?
You're lying about the fact that the powder could have been the bad powder that killed his nephew, so he should totally help you, because then he could stop it from happening again or something.
Yes, basically I'm lying about the fact that I'm certain that the powder that I sell, it does cause funny things in the mind, but it doesn't cause people to get so sozzled that they wander into canals and rivers or trip over tall buildings. And it doesn't work like that.
But this other product totally has unknown side effects.
Yes, it has unknown side effects. It's caused a case that we know about that's happened near where I am, and I obviously don't want this to continue. Had I known, of course, that it had actually affected the family of someone I've worked with, then I would have been more diligent in getting this sorted sooner.
Very cool. Yeah, I will definitely let you fork falsehood for that. Anything else you want to try and throw in the mix?
Let's see what I've got. Lawwise, Griftwise.
I'll have a look too, just in case I get an idea. Yeah, go on.
No, I don't think any of these. I mean, no, I don't think any of these are specifically relate to what I'm attempting to do. Because haggling, I'm not asking for a price for anything.
No.
Can't really be inconspicuous. Not forging a document. I don't know how knowledge of laws comes into it. Reading and writing
it doesn't really.
So that's really, I think, falsehood is the only one.
All right. So there's that.
Well, maybe Griftwise, if that's the knowledge of thieving things? That doesn't really relate, does it?
Not in this case. It's not particularly relevant, or not unless you can convince me it is.
No, I'm not gonna...
Anything else? Like, do you want to, like, I want to say it sounded to me like you were angling for, like, at least you were considering when you were exchanging opinions on how to approach this. There was a consideration about being like, you know, this might affect others like it has you, and you could help us prevent that.
Yes, that could also be. I think that was also an important angle to go for.
All right, because if you work that angle in your persuasion, I will actually let you take an advantage die for that, because that is definitely a priority to him.
Yep.
So absolutely, you take another advantage die for that. So you have one for falsehood and one for advantage in the general tone of conversation. And then there's Minomir. And Minnow, do you want to help out in some way?
With the angle he's taken, I don't know if Ugly Truth would actually help here. But could alchemy come in with some of the side effects that we've seen?
You could bring in alchemy, but you'd be talking out of your ass essentially, because you have not done any alchemical investigation of the product. You could try it, but I think you would be more likely to. It would be more suitable if you used Ugly Truth and basically used that to support the argument that, you know, while this shit is still on the market, like, people are gonna get hurt. You know, help us.
Yeah, the Ugly Truth with, first off, his stuff is white, but you didn't actually see the color of whatever he ingested because, well, he was in the docks.
Yeah, definitely, like, laying into him.
So if it wasn't actually his stuff, if he had said something sooner, maybe we wouldn't have it so widespread, and we actually don't know where it is right now.
That's absolutely valid.
So helping out, no matter how ugly the truth is.
Yeah.
No matter how bestial it sounds, if he actually finds out who the hell did this, he could get revenge on the right person.
Yeah, like, I mean, you lay the facts on him, right? You're like, okay, so you don't know this, but I know these things, and I know that this might change if you do this for us. That's perfectly doable. You do that with you can definitely offer him a helping die for that one. What is your Ugly Truth rating?
3 black.
It is B3?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just +1. So Chris, you take an extra die.
Okay, so that's 3 in modifiers.
Yeah. And what's your persuasion?
It's B4.
All right. Anything else you want to do? Like, do you want to? I don't know. Do you want to bribe him? You have cash. Do you want to put a persona on the line?
A persona?
Yeah, it's a persona point.
You get an extra die for doing that.
See, I've got 1 persona point, haven't I?
Yeah.
Oh, go on then. Let's make an evening of it. I'll spend that point. So that's 4 in modifiers now.
Cool.
Remember to type 1 in the persona with your persuasion. Then you spend 1 persona on it.
So I don't know. I'll deal with that.
Yeah, we'll
afterwards.
deal with the aftermath.
Okay, so 4 modifiers submit.
Yeah.
No Arthur.
Actually, take another bonus die for your reputation.
Shite. Okay.
That's applicable to this one.
So 5.
Is it applicable for me too?
As a healer, I guess you could, if you'd angled it like in a different way, it could be, but you wouldn't be able to help with your reputation. You can only offer him 1 helping die.
It's perfect.
Okay,
Still
so
got...
okay, so 5 modifier.
Alright.
If you want, I can squawk in through the window and intimidate everyone.
Just, "Brah, I'm a bird, motherfucker! Brah!"
No, not yet. Not unless everything goes to shit.
I am the only bird of truth.
All right, so we're looking at a modifier of +5.
Yes.
You've spent a persona, so what you actually yeah, no, that's fine. I think that's how we do. No, wait. I'm doing this wrong. So a modifier of 4 and an Arthur of 1.
Oh, okay. So modifier 4, submit. Arthur 1, submit. And what's the base obstacle?
The obstacle is, let's see, that would be his. You want to overcome his will, which is 4, but he's an enemy presently, which adds 2 to the obstacle. So it's obstacle 6.
Oh, delightful. This is going to go lovely. Submit.
Ah!
Yay!
Fuck.
All right, so I see a 6, and I fucked up again. I should have said what the consequences of failure would be. So once again,
Should've.
I screwed it up. I should have mentioned this. So I'm gonna dial it down a bit from what I had in mind, just as a form of recompense for me screwing it up. You have a 6
Okay.
in there. Do you want to see if you can roll 4 more 6s on that 1 6?
How would I do that?
If you spend your fate point, you get to roll that 6 again. And then you just have to roll 6 4 more times.
And the closer you get to the obstacle, the less painful it'll be.
And that's how it would work in Duel of Wits. In this case,
Oh.
it's just success or failure.
Failure or
essentially.
success, okay.
So I need to re-roll 1 dice 4 times and get a 6, or roll them all at once?
One die 6 times and get a 6. 4 times and get a 6. Every time. If you want to try your hand at that, you can definitely do it. It's not likely, but it could happen.
And what's the
You'll
penalty
have
if...
to roll 4 6s in a row.
Yeah.
In that case, it's not worth it.
Okay. All right. So you give it your best shot, and it's a valiant shot at that. What I want you to do is go into your character sheet now, and in persuasion, mark a difficult test.
Mm-hmm.
And
do I get
then
one too?
what did you say, AJ?
Do I get one too? I helped him.
Yeah, you do. Well, you get help for. Let me just check that, because you definitely get advantage. You get an advance, but I don't know exactly how that works. So let me just figure that one out.
I don't actually have the skill, but I've heard that even though you don't have the skill and help, then it can actually do something.
Yeah, I'll have a look at it once we've settled the things I know about. All right, so as I said, go into your character sheet on your persuasion, mark a difficult test, and also add a persona. Like there's the F, P, and D circles next to it. Add 1 in the P circle.
I have. Do I take the one that was in the persona bit on the other side? Or do I
Yeah,
leave that
you
where it
remove
is?
that one.
Okay, it's gone.
Okay, it's a nice effort, and you now have a persona point on the long road to having gray persuasion.
Delightful.
All right. So here's what's. I'm just quickly gonna check the helping thing before we get into what happens. Advancing abilities, helping. Help us learn. A character who helps earns a test for advancement for stats, skills, or attributes. The level of the skill test is the same as if he had tested against the obstacle with his own ability. So, okay. Okay, so as far as I'm able to tell, you would... let's see, forks reduce the number of blah blah blah. Okay, so as far as I'm able to tell, AJ, you get an advancement on your ugly truth for helping in this situation with your ugly truth.
Ooh.
So what you would, but for you this would be as if you tested. What's your ugly truth skill?
3.
It's 3. Tested versus obstacle,
3.
and 3. And you count as if you were rolling against Chris's obstacle. So where this check for Chris is difficult, if he had 3 versus an obstacle of 6, it would be challenging. So you earn a challenging check towards your ugly truth, as far as I'm able to tell.
So I just... But if I click once, it just goes up to all.
Let me have a look at that. Let's see.
I clicked the one besides the one that was already colored, and then it just all all of them.
All right. So where's your? Did I just skip past it? No, I didn't. Okay. So yeah, it's just click the one like on the left hand side. Huh. There.
But what does the thingies mean out on the side? Routine, 3, 2, difficult, 1, challenge.
So what this means is that now, right now, you need to have, in order to advance your ugly truth, you need 3 routine tests and 2 difficult tests, or you need 2 difficult tests and 1 challenging test.
So I need 2 difficult ones now.
Yeah. Or I
Plus
I also think you can advance with 3 routine and a challenging. So either get 3 routine tests for your ugly truth now, or 2 difficult tests, and it will advance to B4.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, well done. It was a very good effort.
We tried.
You
okay.
did. You tried. Now we get to talk about the consequences of failure in this case. So I had intended to have him turn you down and sick his boys on you,
Uh-oh.
but
I
because
gathered.
That sounds fun. You should totally do that.
you think that sounds fun.
Rasmus, shut up. Carry on, please, Daniel, with what you were going to say.
Well, I was going to say that I because I screwed up on not informing you of the obstacle, I would like dial it down to him essentially throwing you out and hating your guts, like, and be like, fuck off, and then he will start actively antagonizing you moving forward. But that is what I wanted to say, but I heard Rasmus say that he would be cool with a fight, and I mean, if people want a fight, if people think it would be funny to have a fight, we can totally have a fight, but we could also just go with the get out of my shop and never return. Also, I'm going to be a thorn in your side from here on out.
I think the original option has more potential for ending the threat before it begins, in a twisted kind of way.
Can't see it, but I'm smiling very widely. My inner Minomir is going, yes, come here.
Yeah, go on, Daniel. Let's go for the full brunt of the failure this time around. We'll have him sick his boys on us.
All right, I can work with that. So I think we'll run this as a bloody versus test, and this will probably be the last thing we do for tonight before we hand out Arthur.
So we'll basically end on a cliffhanger for the fight then.
Well, I don't know. We'll probably, depends on how fast this passes by. I've not run a bloody
either way is
versus test.
fine. Let's do what we can with the time we have.
Let's do it. Okay, so bloody versus test. Okay, in the bloody versus test, players divide their weapon skill plus forks from other advantages into 2 pools, one for attack and one for defense. Each player then rolls his attack pool and then his defense pool. Successes in the defense pool subtracts from the opponent's attack successes. Extra successes in the attack pool do damage as described in the weapons chapter. So basically what this is okay. So you try to convince him, and it's not like you're definitely making an effort, and it's not like it's a bad argument, it's just not sufficient. He is not in a good place in terms of being talked down. He's angry, he's frustrated, and he's been holding this in for a long time. He's not reported you to the officials because he knows it will come back and haunt him if he does so, and it'll hurt the people around him. So he's just like been sitting on it. And now that he has you in front of him and you're trying to like convince him to help you, even though he hates you, it's just too much for him. And he like explodes at you and he's like, no, I will have none of this. Fuck you. Guys, take this fucker out.
Would that be a sudden thing? Like, he just stands there and then suddenly stomps and say, no, none of this, sicken.
Yeah, that's definitely a sudden thing.
It would be sort of a surprise. Alright.
I would argue that, seeing as you're trying to convince an obviously hostile person, the fact that he might not be convinced is not really surprising.
I wouldn't say this is a
Yeah,
surprise.
but
I would like if suddenly Rasmus had exploded through the window and been like, "I'm a bird," then there would have been surprising going around. But in this case, it's like you see it building and it explodes out of him. Yeah, but it's an old man shouting, so it's not like it provokes a steel test.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
That is not what I'm going at.
Oh, go on.
Because if he's surprised, not that he needs to use a steel test, but he will draw his weapon already.
Ah, yeah. No, that doesn't count as surprise. It's not like it's a shock.
But
for
if
you.
he sees it building, he'll take out his weapon because
I'll accept that. I'll accept that you can see it building and just have a hand on the weapon.
He has seen an angry animal get angry before, and that always leads to I'm gonna attack you now.
Definitely. All right. So okay, how this goes down is we have two parties facing off against each other. We have you guys and we have their guys. Is someone leading this? Is someone leading this fight for you? Or the other, like another part helps, or are the two of you fighting like individually?
I imagine that if it is a fight and support thing, then Minomir will obviously be the one stepping in front of the squishy one and then going all out.
Yeah.
So you're fine with just like assisting Minnow.
Nicky is Nicky is smart to know that if they try and go individually, he has less chance of surviving if he just sort of helps Minomir do the actual the brunt of the work.
All right. So Minnow, what you want to do is you want to like, what weapon do you use? We want to establish that because his two guys are both like, all right, that's fine, and they both draw cudgels.
There's a length long. It just says so. I guess it both has reach but can hit on the middle of it. I don't know.
You're talking about your quarterstaff?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's a long range weapon.
Penis.
What did you say, Rasmus?
He's obviously talking about his penis.
Oh
having
yeah.
the reach.
Naturally. I don't know why I missed that. All right. So let's see. So you have what's your skill for fighting with a quarterstaff?
I don't have the skill yet.
All right. So in that case,
But
it would
I
use
do
your.
have the weapons set in.
Yeah, sure. So you have the weapon, you just don't have the skill for it. That means you use the root. The root for staves is agility, I believe. Let's have a look, see if that's right.
Does it not say?
Staff is rooted in agility, yeah. So what's your agility stat?
I have to go back to character stats. Agility 3.
All right, 3. And this is a small room, but it's not that it's divided into like small compartments by like sequential shelving, right? It has an open space in the center of it. So you are in a position where you can use your weapon to your advantage, and you definitely have a longer weapon than these two. So yeah, you take +1 die for having a longer weapon.
So 4.
Yeah, and let's see. Does your staff have any versus armor? I'm assuming it doesn't.
No, it's just a regular quarterstaff.
All right. Do you wear any armor yourself? Do you have a shield? Do you have gambeson? Do you have anything?
What's that?
Okay. Let's see.
Do you have feathers?
Yeah, it's a good question. Geez, I don't know. I almost... Nah, it's probably nothing. It's fine. All right, so you have a pool of 4. And... What's your reflexes?
What speed, power... What the hell do I see that? Health, steel? circles, resources, reflexes 3.
3. Okay, so you don't get a benefit from your reflexes. Do you have anything you would argue gives you an advantage in this? Do you have anything you would like to? Well, you can't strictly speaking fork in this situation, but would you argue you have an advantage for something? What's your fictional positioning here?
He's fucking strong.
That's true,
So
but
he
that will definitely
punch,
factor
but
in
that
if you
will
hit
come out
someone.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, his observation could maybe foresee something.
Nah, observation is for detecting hidden shit. So if someone had tried to sneak up on you, you would have a chance at spotting them, instead of just eating a strike to the back. So yeah, anything else?
Nope.
Do you have brawling?
Nope.
Okay. Well, then we're sitting on 4 dice.
Wait, let me check because I did oversee something
It's
twice.
true. It's true. That did happen. Have a moment to just look it over.
You know what? I have a far reach. Are any of these actually good looking?
No, they're both.
Okay, good.
They're both
Because then he
somewhat
can do
ugly.
it, openly. But could he throw them off with seduction? Like, completely throw them off their guard? And get an advantage like fighting dirty?
If you had a skill for it, you could definitely get advantage for fighting dirty. In this case, though, it's not applicable. But
Okay.
I can absolutely, it's absolutely a thing you could do once you're trained in brawling.
Alright. It's just, a far reach, but using his seduction to actually throw people off their game because they think he's completely serious.
Yeah. And then you have Nikki backing you up. Nikki throwing in with a skill of his own, I imagine. Or you can help with a stat also, because Minnow is using a stat to fight.
Okay, so let's see what I've got. Skills. I have nothing that relates. I have a skill that that's being learned, but that's not the same. I don't think.
Which skill? No, it's not. But what skill is that?
That's brawling.
Yeah, it's being learned right now. So no, that's not applicable right now.
In that case, in terms of stats, I have my best ones are agility and speed.
Yeah. So how do you throw in? You're helping with the stat definitely. So you throw into the fight, but what are you doing?
Stinging. Basically, well, okay. I imagine that I want to have Nikki throwing the occasional punch or even a stab at these guys while always being out of reach. Basically, death to 1,000 cuts style combat.
All right. So they have of course they have cudgels, so they have longer reach than you.
Okay.
But in this case, this is a single room you're fighting in. Are you using? I'm just gonna ask if you're leaning more on your brawling or on your knife in order to determine what you might get to advance when you roll.
Knife. The dirk.
All right.
I have a very good question for you, Daniel.
Yeah, let's hear it.
While fists are not as lethal,
Yeah.
would they go on power instead of agility?
If you try to fuck someone up in bare knuckle fighting, you would go off power.
Okay. Because I actually think that would work better.
It might. You'd lose the advantage from your weapon.
And that is why I'm looking it up. Because with agility I have 3.
Yeah.
And I would get up to 4.
Yeah.
And with the stabby guy playing dirty behind me, I would maybe get it up to 5.
Yeah, you would get a helping die and get it up to 5, definitely.
But if I use my power, I would get it up to 6.
Yeah, okay, so it's basically a trade-off for you, right? It's do I take more dice to the fight, but hit for less damage, or do I take fewer dice but hit for more damage if I hit?
But they're big and burly, you said.
Well, yeah, they both look like
They're
they've taken a
brutes.
punch.
Okay, then I'll stay with the tool because they will need more damage to get down if they're solid build.
All right.
Okay, I just had to, figure out what would be the smartest.
Absolutely. And you definitely do take a helping die from Nikki assisting you.
So I have 5 dice.
Yeah. Okay, so with those 5 dice,
Ooh, hi kitty kitty.
you, I mean, it's not like it's not that I want to keep you out of the fight, Rasmus, but you're floating around in the air. There's not really there's no smoke bomb going off.
I mean, that's perfectly fine. If I get a hint that a fight is going on, I could join. Until then, I'll just circle around and I don't know.
Can Nikki, as it's starting, shout out?
But we're
you want
inside.
to like to yeah.
Would- as I say-
How would you go about summoning your friend? Let me hear that.
Use a
Convince
ritual.
me.
Well, would it be applicable for Minnow and his birdly brother to have a way of calling each other if shit's going to happen?
Not really. Not in a way that's different from the way everyone else does it. Right? It's like, hey, help! I'm about to get fucked up down here. And then okay.
Then it would just be, get your ass down here, Feathers!
Then of course there's the issue of he has to land and then transmute into a person and then open the door and then join the... You know what, I think for this, just for the sake of this fight, I think actually it's probably more likely that he's either he doesn't notice that there's a fight going on, or he takes too long getting there. That seems like it would be...
Tries to be heroic and get through the window, but he knocks himself out doing so.
I'll leave it to Rasmus to decide like which one of those it is.
I think
can see.
I think he would probably be circling quite high in the air, so he probably wouldn't notice.
Sure.
Unless there's something visual.
Of course. Okay. Okay, so you have 5 dice on your side. How are you gonna split those in terms of like how many will you be rolling for for attack and how many will you be rolling for defense?
Yes.
Well, they look solid and strong. I don't really know how this works.
Basically, you take.
And he doesn't actually have any real knowledge. I think the only thing he knows is if you hit first and hardest, then maybe you don't get fucked up as much.
It's true.
So he will roll 4 for attack and 1 for defense. It's not a lot of defense, and it might cost him his life, but he doesn't know any better. So yeah. Hello.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Okay. Yeah. Let's have a look at that.
Someone say something.
Hi, AJ. Can you hear me?
Ooh, there was a Daniel.
Hello. Do you read me?
Yes.
Good.
We better wrap this up before before we lose everyone.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. So they're armed with cudgels. They don't get weapon benefit for that. But they do, of course. They want to use their cudgel skill. They're gonna fork brawling. He's gonna get a helping die from his pal. So he's up to good. So he's up to 5, and he's wearing Gambeson, so he's up to 6.
Ow.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and he doesn't have a reflex advantage either. So
I'll boo on him.
boop. Did I do that wrong? I didn't. Okay, click. There we go. And I'm just gonna roll first. He's gonna spend Actually, I am doing it wrong. Okay, he's gonna spend. He's up to 6 dice, so he's gonna spend 3 for attack and 3 for defense. It didn't roll. Okay. I am just gonna quickly do that again. Because I'm screwing it up.
We'll get there eventually. We've got a few minutes.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So
You can do this!
hope so. Okay. There we go. Okay. So we're looking at 2 successes on their attack. And we're looking at... We're just gonna roll again for their defense. No successes for their defense.
Yeah,
Alright.
you did.
And now, AJ, you get to roll. You can roll for your attack.
My
You
attack
put 4
is-
dice into attack, right, and 1 into defense.
Yes.
Okay, roll it.
So 4d6 for attack.
Oh Jesus!
Alright, no hits, and
Fuck's
then your dice for defense.
Oh, this is pretty.
That is beautiful. Okay.
Oh God! Oh God! How?
Run,
How?
run, just run.
All right. So here's what happens. This is a one side hits situation. In the struggle, the losing side is wounded. Apply wounds as result by the weapons. Describe how you bested or run off your opponent. Okay, so let's have a look at you both get a whack with a cudgel each, and you lose this fight.
Ow.
So let's see just how badly this is. I imagine it's not that hard, but who knows. Okay, so there we are.
Takes them and experiments on them.
He's gonna make us his bitches.
Yeah, whose fault will that be?
Your lieutenants?
Yeah.
It's always the lieutenants. That's one of the perks of being the boss.
Yep.
There's a dash, and then this is 2. And it has a range of short. Okay. Alright, so they hit you with 2 successes and you defend with none. So they're gonna spend those 2 successes to, I think, up the damage. Are they though? I don't think they are, because they're not really here to kill you. They're here to beat the fuck out of you and throw you out. That's what they were asked to do. So yeah. Let's see, cudgel. And none of are any of you wearing armor?
I'm wearing a gambazon.
Okay. So I mean, you still suffer the hit, of course, because yeah. Okay. Fine. In the end you would still get beat up. That's the point of losing the fight. Okay. Bloody versus... There, one side is hit, apply damage. Good. The fight is over. So... Both of you take a B6 wound.
Okay.
Let's talk about that. What is B6 for you respectively?
Well, let's go into combat and look.
B6.
My B6 is light, LE.
All right. And for Nikki?
MI.
So a midi wound. All right. So you take the hardest punch. So okay. So you see there is a row of 3 dots below the coordinates. Just mark one of those, like the topmost of those. Just click that.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see on your character sheet, Chris, like you now have 2 wound die. Means you get like a massive. You get you get beat up. There's an exchange of hits. One of them Comes in the sailor-looking bloke. He swings his cudgel from like off to the side and just wings you like right on the temple. You like get slightly concussed. Something similar happens to Minnow off on the other side, but it's not as bad of a hit on Minnow as it is on you.
Because I'm fucking solid build.
Yeah. So for you, it's a light wound, which means it's gonna be okay. You can walk it off. Nikki, on the other hand, Nikki's in trouble because Nikki's actually suffering enough of a wound that he could die. He could die from this if it goes untreated.
Man, it's a good thing I'm a fucking grumpy healer.
All right, so
I think you're going to be even more grumpy when Nikki starts ranting at you.
I'm imagining.
I'm imagining that if we get back here and we patch him up, and then he says, "Well, then I'll have to do it all myself, right?"
Something to that effect. Essentially what happens, like, there's a scuffle, right? You whip out your weapons, Nikki, you step in to help Minnow. These two guys come barreling in towards you. They start, like, exchanging blows. There's a swing of quarterstaffs, swings of cudgels. You have your knife out and try to, like, stab them, which is probably why you get the harder of the twacks than Minnow does, because, oh shit, this guy has a knife out, what the fuck? And then, like, just kind of beat you across the face hard and you stagger.
Yeah.
None of you actually get knocked out. So I foresee, like, the way this fight is going is essentially with the two of you, like, you get run off. They chase you from out the building, clubbing you as they go. Which reminds me that you get a steel test, Nikki, for suffering a wound that gives you wound dice penalties. So make me a steel test. And I will quickly tell you if you get a modifier for it. I don't think you do, but let's just be thorough. We have a book, so let's just try and use it. We will learn as we play. We will need it.
No, now is not the time to bring. It's not the time to bring that particular character into our deliberations. Mind you, he probably would have been very useful against the bully boys, but.
All right, so so you don't get any modifiers. Just roll your steel. Your obstacle is your hesitation. So for you, it's 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so that's for 5 heartbeats. So that's for like a little while. So you get hit on the head, and the entire world like spins around. Everything hurts. You hear like a flatlining sound in your head.
Yeah.
And you have an instinctual reaction. You fail your steel. You hesitate. You do something, right? In your escape from this place, I mean, I'm imagining running screaming would be the optimum choice, but I don't know if you just imagine like you're standing there, standing and drooling, or laughing maniacally for a moment, or if you are falling prone and begging for mercy before you escape. But something definitely happens that has you delayed for a while.
Laughing and clutching my head.
You know what? I'll work with it in this case. So the two of you get run off. You like bumbling into the rafters, like into the like into the side of the building as you're trying to make it down the stairs, laughing and clutching your bleeding temple.
Daniel?
Yeah.
The second Menomir realizes that the tiny guy is bleeding profusely, he would pick the guy up and run.
Yeah, I mean the point of it, okay, so that's definitely, that might be what happens.
Okay, over the shoulder, we're gone.
Yeah, so the hawk swooping around up in the air, you're looking down, using your hawk eyes to not fire a bow, but to have a better look at what's going on the ground. And things are quiet for a moment, nothing's really transpiring, and then the door bursts open, and Nicholas comes out, almost falls over over the side of the railing next to the stair. Minnow comes out, swoops him up, and just runs off. Nicky is like laughing and clutching his temple, and they just vanish like down the dockside.
Can we have just one line just as he's being scooped up and before they head off? I want Nicky to just to nobody in particular, just to the street in general, just say, "Can't trust a quack, eh?" Or something like that, you know.
That's
So
wonderful.
the only comment from Minnow would be, "Rap rap."
So I don't. You see them bolt down like the dockside. I don't know. Are you following them, making sure they're all right?
Please let them be followed by someone.
They're not. You see a guy step out onto the staircase, look after them, maybe like take a last swing that clips Minnow's shoulder, and then he shouts something at them, and does a rude gesture, swings his cudgel, and then they go back inside.
Fair enough.
I mean, their job is not to chase these guys; their job is to chase them off.
In that case, yes, I follow them.
All right.
And whenever they stop, I'll land nearby and make a screechy, hawky, falcony sound at them.
Let's establish that so we know where we join you next time, because tending to Nicky's injury is gonna be relevant when we start playing next time. So like where do you run and where do you go? Where do we find you when we meet you next time?
Well, Minnow is heading directly back because he's laughing like an idiot and he's bleeding.
Laughing for an idiot for like a minute or so.
He possibly just got brain damage, for all he knows. The guy is laughing profusely, yelling about ducks, while bleeding. He might have a concussion and possibly brain damage.
Oh, he definitely has a concussion. The brain damage, maybe not, but it was just a clever line about obviously trying to discredit a doctor or something.
Yeah, but still, he's laughing and bleeding all over the place. He's running back to the place with him.
Yes, Evelyn's going to have a word or two to have with you as well, I've just realised.
Why? I fucking just saved your ass.
Yeah, you also failed to protect my ass in the first place.
After you got us into trouble by forgetting that you accidentally killed the guy's nephew.
I didn't forget it. I didn't know in the first place.
Well, clearly, as the boss, it's your job to stay informed.
It's not necessarily Nicky's fault that this guy is holding a grudge. It's more that it's Chris's fault for rolling poorly on a circles test. Well, anyway, yeah. So, by the way, Chris, before we do anything else, mark a challenging steel test.
I know it's very realistic, but I don't like learning by failing.
I actually thought this was really funny.
Yeah, I think this is good. Also, you get to add another skill to being learned, and you can add a knife, and have
Stop.
One moment, AJ. I'll just finish up with Chris, then I'll answer your question.
Yes.
Your knife is rooted in agility, not power. So we can see you would have an aptitude of 5 there. That's good. And just take a 1 dot there on the path to being learned. Good. Wonderful. So far so good. Okay, what did you ask, AJ?
Do I get something for the quarterstaff?
You do. You do get something for the quarterstaff because you tried to test your quarterstaff skill. So in your character sheet, I want you to go into stats and skills, and then scroll down until you find a place that says being learned. It's right next to skills and Arthur and Epiphanies. It's right between those.
Being learned. Yes.
Yep.
Add.
Yep. You add one there, and then you name that one. Name it. Staves. That's what it's called.
Staves. Yes.
Staves or staff? I think staff.
Staff is best.
Yeah.
Staff, yes.
And that one is rooted in agility, so you change the thing that says will to agility.
Yes.
And you can see in the circle it says 7.
Yeah.
That means you have to get 7 staff checks to learn staff. So now you mark 1.
Mark 1. And
Oh.
it does this again.
Boop. There.
Ah!
I'll help. There.
Stop
There you
clicking
go.
while I'm clicking.
Sorry. There you go.
There.
So now you just need to get 6 more staff checks, and then you will get to learn staff.
Yay! I didn't have to roll steel for my wound though. Was it because it was just a bruise?
Was it a light wound you suffered?
It was a light wound, yes.
Okay, then my bad. Yeah, you do get to roll steel. Just make a steel test. Let's see what's up.
Yay!
How the fuck did I not notice that? Oh, because I switched off notifications.
Yeah, it's your steel of 6 versus obstacle 4.
Yeah, I have to find my steel first. My steel is gone because
Oh, right,
things I'll reload now.
Yeah. Also,
So-
I'm sorry. I'll roll it for you because it doesn't work when you do it. So I'll just roll.
Rolling.
Also, I rolled against obstacle 1 because I'm a huge idiot. Okay, so you roll against obstacle 4 instead, and you got 4 successes. Okay, you don't actually hesitate. That's good.
Yay!
Why are we doing this retroactively?
We're doing this retroactively because she earns a check,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In this case, your steel is 6, of course, so you don't actually need any routine tests. So okay, you do succeed, which matches the narrative we've been setting up, but you don't advance anything. You need something seriously scary before you get any more steely, because you're a tough motherfucker, and the world doesn't frighten you.
Aww.
All right, so far so good. Just to establish, because I wasn't actually listening, because because I totally didn't care what you said. But where will we be joining you next time?
Probably.
Back where?
Back at the house.
Ah, okay, so at Nikki's operation.
Yeah, he's not stopping before they're back there.
Okay.
He did realize what a big hole Nicky now has in his head, and it's a good thing. It's not a good thing if the food giver dies.
No, I can.
He's not a good giver.
It's good. It's survival, right? It's my survival by extension, your survival.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. It's probably easier to set him down after a little while because he's still a person, and you're running through a city. So at one point, it's easier to have him stagger.
We get away, then put him down, and then go back.
Yeah, and there's a falcon following you that eventually turns into a person.
Who then gets an earful for not coming when I yelled after him.
Yeah, something like that. Next time we will address Nikki having a midi wound, and we will address Shihao regaining his strength after being so heavily taxed during his sorcery. But that will be for next time. Right now, let's talk Arthur. All
Don't
right.
like him. Arthur can fuck off.
Yeah. Also,
Arthur's
Daniel,
cool.
I'm very disappointed that someone didn't follow them, because then I could swoop down, land on the street, and do a Batman, where I just kind of rise slowly with my huge cloak.
there will be options. Okay, there is time. Time is on your side, friend.
I can't see you, Rasmus, doing a throat cancer voice, though. That's the problem.
Daniel?
Well, this is clearly Batman the animated series.
Oh, yes, of course.
Daniel?
Yeah.
I know we're not talking traits yet, but I have an idea for Rasmus.
Oh?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Absent?
No, theatrics. He was really, really, really into making it look big and bad when he turned into a bird.
That is true.
There is absolutely, keep that in mind or write it down
Flare
somewhere.
or something like that.
I suggest you write that down because it's a perfectly valid thing to bring up when we start talking trade votes eventually. All right, but let's start from the top now, and we start from the top with Minnow. Let's talk about your beliefs, instincts, and traits for this session.
None of them was really touched upon.
No, let's see. You want to find a way to remove your brother's curse. Didn't really come up. because you went along with this other thing instead. If people seek me out for help, try to avoid them. Eriastos knew for me, didn't come up. And Nicholas' business is in danger. Someone's been tampering with his narcotics. I found out exactly what has been done to it. I'd say take fate for that, because you did pursue that.
Yay!
So, yeah. No, note of fate in your stats and skills page.
Skills.
Yeah.
And there, I get a fate back. Yay!
Well done. Let's have a look at your instincts, see if any of those got you in trouble.
No.
Nah.
I didn't rush to my brother's side. He actually ran away from mine. I didn't flirt with anyone. I did draw a weapon, but not because I was surprised, and it didn't get me into trouble.
Yeah.
We're already in trouble.
And you didn't get into trouble because of your traits either, so, and they didn't advance the story in a meaningful way either, so yeah, that's fine. You take a fate for this session.
Yes.
Good, cool. Let's have a look at Nicholas.
The only belief I feel that was affected this time was the third one. We tried to pursue that belief, even if it didn't come to much.
I will kill them
Someone
to
threatens-
ensure they end, others never do so again.
Or at least someone threatens it. We pursued who was doing it to try and find them to kill them, but we didn't get anywhere.
Yeah, So I'm inclined to to say that this wasn't actually what was chased, because what you were doing was you were trying to figure out what was up with the product, right? You didn't take an effort to go out and be like, who is selling the green stuff? Who is making the green stuff? Someone tell me who's selling the green stuff. Was it you? Was it your partner? There was none of that.
Okay.
It was more looking into what's actually the deal with it and what it does. So
Yeah, that's true. We did go a little bit off topic there.
yeah, so I want to say it's not that it was bad or at all, but
Yes, it was. It was horrible.
it was delightful. It was lots of exciting
Yes,
new
yes.
pieces added to the board. But yeah, no, I want to say don't take advancement for those.
Okay. As for the instincts, carrying a sharp knife apparently got me in trouble because it means they hit me harder.
It's true. That's not strictly speaking the fact that you did carry it, but I will say it's fine. Yeah, it's okay. Take fate for that one. I'll give you that one.
Okay, and instinct 1 will definitely come into play now. That's more to be affected next session, I think. So that's not worth nothing at the moment.
Any traits came up? Do you think?
That's what I'm saying. The traits, odd, and a bit callous probably came up. Louis Wu at the end as a Jedi trait, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, none of them strictly speaking got you in trouble.
No.
So yeah, you get one fate definitely. From your
Yes,
instinct.
from the other one. Okay, that's good.
And yeah, let's have a look at Rasmus at Xiaoxi.
That's me. Yogi.
Yeah, what are we looking at for beliefs?
I want to make a name for myself as someone to be feared or revered by any means. As such, I will make an effort to become the center of attention in public.
You take a fate for that. You definitely pursued that by
You-
conjuring arcane powers in the middle of a crowded street and filling the air with the clarion call of air being punished and magic entering the world, and then turning into a bird and flying off.
Yes,
Mad fucker.
'twas much impressive.
Yes, Nikki wasn't impressed.
What? I turned into a fucking bird?
It was totally impressive. I'll leave it to you if you were impressed, but you've probably never seen that before.
I was impressed by the fact that he did it. He wasn't impressed by the fact that he did it in public. That's the thing. I mean, he wasn't impressed by the sense that he was irritated.
Ah.
Yeah, that's sort of disapproving. I'm not impressed.
Mm.
I'm not impressed, son, by your actions. What do you have to say of yourself, sort of thing?
Belief
and
number 2.
I have a quick question, Daniel.
Go on.
Because I kind of want to keep doing this, at least for now.
Yeah.
So, do I have to renew that one?
Oh, no,
or-
not at all. It's not resolved. You just got a fate point for pursuing it.
In that case, would it be alright if I corrected a bit and said, as such, I will make a continued effort?
You may keep it as it is right now. It's perfect. It's perfectly valid right now as a fate farm. You can also add the continued if you want to.
Have done said.
Okay.
I haven't destroyed that person, and I haven't sought out ancient powers and knowledge.
All right. Any instincts came up?
Not yet, though I suggest respond to threats with intimidation might come up next time, depending on how pissed Nikki is.
All right, and then there is an ask Minnow for advice when you need it. It didn't really. You know what? Actually, I'm inclined to give you fate for this one because when there was talk of like what's up with the corpse, you were the one who was like, well, let's look to Minnow for this, and that definitely wound up changing the story a little bit.
True. Shall I mark another fate point then?
I'll say mark fate for that one. You wound up like testing circles to find out what was wrong. You relying on Minnow by accident because of AJ's organization of her character sheet wound up with you looking for an alchemist when you already had one.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Daniel.
No, I know.
There is nothing wrong with my organizational skills.
No, you're just a picture
Just
of innocence.
right. Whenever I scrolled over it.
Okay, yeah, sure.
You know what I'm really looking forward to is the second when poor Nikki, with a racking headache, looks at Minnow, who just sniffs and say, well, then I'll have to do the work myself, don't I?
As for traits,
Yep.
spooky might have come up. If it's spooky to cast spells in the middle of the street, I don't know.
Yeah, it did. You definitely were spooky. We didn't really get a chance to let that shine. It wasn't. It's always there, but it wasn't brought forward, and it didn't change the story in any significant or interesting way, or cause your life to become more difficult. Not for now, at least. So,
I guess gifted came up.
gifted did come up, but the same thing. It didn't change your life in that particular
Not
regard. It
yet.
made your life easier.
I mean, for now, I'm pretty sure the city guard probably won't like mages in the city.
You keep this
It's
up,
just a
like
hunch.
you make a nuisance of yourself. Eventually, you'll like have like people out there hunting for gifted people, and then the fact that you're gifted is gonna be really troublesome, and then you might get to earn some fate for that one. Until then, it's sitting there, allowing you instead to turn into birds.
Well, a specific kind of bird.
True.
Squawk!
A falcon is pretty badass, so that's alright.
All right. So yeah,
Right.
take 2 fate for
Wait.
this session, and just jump them in your stats and skills.
I kinda imagined that because the fort save was so bad that he turned into a bird, but the bird killed over immediately. Like, squawk!
I don't actually know if this works, but what I'm gonna do is I'm going to check until next time and see if the fort test you make as you get taxed count towards advancement. Because if it does, then I'll tell you and you get to maybe mark advancement.
Cool. Also, for my personal interpretation, and you'll have to correct me if this is wrong, since the exhaustion uses my human fort, I would like to think that it sets in most part after I transform back. I mean, I can feel it, but the brunt of it won't come until then.
No, absolutely not. You feel it immediately.
Even though it uses my human and not my bird.
Completely, absolutely. If you roll poorly enough, you can knock yourself out. You can be like, "I'm shape changing into a bird, motherfuckers!" and just go out immediately. That is a thing that can absolutely happen. Also, since you're sustaining it, that's a good example too. While you're sustaining a spell like this, you might be called upon to roll for tax again every X number of hours. And that, of course, it'll be lower and lower and lower and lower as you eat tax and get more sick. So yeah, you
pretty-
definitely you felt the hammer blow when you transformed.
Yeah, I'm clearly not. I'm out of practice with this magic thing because that was a horrendous attack roll.
Well, you know it's not
I rolled
like
1 success on 8 die.
hey, you can't don't knock yourself, right? You're an exemplary nerd, but you might not like it's maybe not. Maybe you've been neglecting some of the maybe you've been skipping leg day.
I don't think so. I mean, my 4 to 6. This heavy attacks brought me down to normal.
Well, 6 die versus obstacle 4 is like there's the opportunity it could go wrong.
I had
but
8 die.
It's true. Well, that's the thing, right? The dice are fickle. Anyway,
Yes.
so yeah, that's the Arthur dealt with. Thank you very much for joining me for this session. I have to say this. I mean, I was pretty stoked for this game, but it's really growing on me. And I like learning
seems
as I
really
play.
fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Did you guys have a good session? Anything you want to bring up before we call it for now?
No, I think we did.
Go on.
I don't know. I think we did. I think we did well. I think it has some very interesting situations come off of it, and it's very. Again, it was a very good demonstration of just how much we can benefit by the spectacular failures we had. We actually still gained something from it. It's a good demonstration of how Burning Wheel works in that regard.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to the Fallout next time.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how you decide to deal with this if you decide to deal with it.
No, I specifically mean Nikki probably being pissed.
That's probably gonna be a thing. Yeah.
He's going to be a bit pissed. He's going to try and rein it in for the sake of the fact that as much as he's annoyed with the fact that you failed to deliver, he can't just go all out on you because you're intimidating and you are useful. Or at least you appeared to be useful at first.
And I mean, I just proved that I can totally use magic.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah,
it was
the
totally
sorcery is definitely real in that one. You're tossing around those 12 gray shaded dice.
Yes, the terms of your contract will be up for review in Nikki's head next time.
Well, we'll get to that next time then. I definitely look forward to that. And until then, I guess this is it for now. So follow us in a couple of weeks for some more Burning Wheel at Charismatoac. And until then, bye.
Bye.
Bye.